Hey, hello, welcome back. I am Lori Andros. Today we are going to sink into a bit of conversation about the crystals and stones that have showed up as allies for 2023. Last week I talked a bit about a couple messages that have come forward from Citrine, which is our crystal of the year. And today I want to share with you or reveal each of the crystals and stones that have come forward for each of the 12 months. Now, if you missed that episode where I talked about Citrine, I want to just share with you a little bit about the crystal forecast. This is something I do every year. I look at it less as a predictive sort of thing, but rather as insight into some of the collective themes that may emerge and what crystals and stones are eager and excited and ready to show up and be our allies as we're navigating the year. Life has ups, downs, twists, and turns, and connecting with the crystals and stones as allies offers deeper insight. It helps us reconnect with the rhythm and cycle of the earth and the very naturalness of life itself. So if you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can pop on over to that previous video. I'll put a link in the show notes for that as well. But I also did this as a live reading. So we gathered on, I believe it was December 18th. If you want to catch that full live replay, I'll drop a link for that in the show notes as well. And one more link that I'll drop down there is a link for, I've put these together, the crystals, this crystal forecast, into a nice PDF that you can download and have a beautiful document that you can just, have accessible and with you all the time. So if you notice that you're feverishly writing down and scribbling notes, don't worry, I've got it all put together and laid out nicely. So as we move through today, we'll just kind of quickly move through each of the months and the crystals that have shown up and the core messages that they've already offered as we step into this year. So I've given it away. I've shared it already. You know what it is. The 2023 crystal of the year is Citrine. Yes, this beauty is already illuminating the pathways for us to move forward in ways that feel aligned, connected, and supportive of our most authentic and aligned becoming. I think this is such an amazing ally. Not only is it lighting the pathway, it's inviting us to really light up from within ourselves. And it just, it's such a happy stone. It's so happy. The brightness, sunniness, think of joy and play, and how can you bring that light, playfulness, joyful energy into every facet of your life. All right, in January, Black Tourmaline stepped forward as the ally. Now, this stone or crystal has been showing up every year. This is the third year in a row that it is showing up as an ally. I believe it was June of 2022 and perhaps May of 2021. I don't remember exactly. If someone remembers, drop it in the comments. But I feel like this is showing up as a really strong ally for the collective right now. And I think one of the core invitations it's offering is a deeper connection with the earth, to really deeply become present in our connection with the natural rhythms and cycles of life, to source our own energy and our own stability and grounded and rootedness by our connection with nature, by spending time in nature, to reconnect with the naturalness of life. Now, it came through with a couple specific messages, and one was around anchoring our light within. Black tourmaline really encourages us to do that, to really have a clear sense of self and where our energy is in the world. Where does it become scattered? Where does it become disconnected? Where does it become kind of floaty in different ways? How can we call it back to ourselves? And a black tourmaline, while we know it for a lot of amazing things, one of the things that's really going to support us with this month of January, is anchoring our light within, knowing that we're safe in life, we're protected, and really feeling that on a deep soul level as we courageously explore our inner worlds in the winter season. Okay, moving into February, we have Iolite. I just love Iolite. I always think of this like mystical, magical aspects of the unknown that lives within the universe and in the far galaxies of, the places where we have not been. And sometimes that's the magical, in the sky places, right? The places that we aren't aware of, but it's also the magical places within ourselves that we have not yet traversed. And those places are waiting and eager and excited for us to connect with them, to explore them. And Iolite just offers this opportunity to delve deeply, to expand our sense of inner vision, and to really imagine new possibilities in our lives. How cool is that? In March, we're going to meet up with Sodalite, another amazing, dreamy crystal or stone. Sodalite is fantastic, actually, for dreaming and connecting with dream realms, letting ourselves expand our realm of what's possible. Again, very similar to Iolite in that capacity. But it really is going to invite us to actually move from that place of dreaming into the place of taking the step forward and walking through the portal of our becoming. So making this shift from the place of dream into allowing our dreams to land in our physical world, land in this reality, and to embrace it and expand into our own becoming. Then in April, we meet with green calcite. Oh, this one just feels so bright and light and happy and joyful. What a great stone to really step fully into the month of April, into the season of spring with. When I looked at all these crystals and I kind of chunked them down into seasons, I took April, May, and June, and then July, August, September. The January, February, March felt like they were calling us into that beautiful winter cave of inner exploration. Whereas right away, when we step into April and we meet the emerald green calcite, it's like that magic and momentum and aliveness really emerges quickly. And the joyfulness of being alive is also present as well. So the messages with green calcite are to attune to the magic of life and embrace magical moments. Then in May, we meet Garnet. I just love Garnet. Garnet is such a great ally for getting deeply, deeply rooted and connected with the earth. And the messages that it came forward, no surprise, were to root deeply into the earth, to let our rhythm synchronize with the rhythm of the earth. How perfect. Yeah. To really find that way of flowing in harmony, whether it's through our connection with the seasons and the cycles and the times of expansion or contraction, getting to know how we uniquely experience them. Then in June, we are going to be working with Ammonite, the spiral of awakening that it offers. The thing that I always think is so beautiful about Ammonite is it reflects both the spiral of inner exploration and the spiral of expansion. And the ways that our lives and our journeys through inner exploration simultaneously create outer expansion. The journey within creates expansion without. And it's like as we move in deeper, we expand into our wholeness, into our most, natural self, into our true nature. And this is a really beautiful thing about Ammonite. And I love that it's showing up in June as we are at the end of the spring season and stepping into summer, which is that season of expansion, of being seen, of lighting up in life. So how perfect. Then in July, we meet with the Moki Marbles. Moki Marbles or shaman stones, there's a lot of different names around this. Around these beautiful little beautiful little stones, and they are really inviting us to know the energy of balance. I find that it's timing interesting being in July, because July is a time that's very outward expressive, outward expansive. There's a lot of light. The energy of heat is really alive. We're in full summer, right? And how do we know, how do we explore balance within ourselves? What does that mean to each of us uniquely? Is it masculine, feminine? Is it work, play, family? What areas is our soul inviting us to explore and bring a cleaner sense of balance to during that time? I think this will be a really cool ally during that time. It says the note that I have written down is to find peace within all facets of yourself. All right, then in August, it comes Chiastolite. Now, Chiastolite has that beautiful cross at the very center of the stone, and it also almost looks at times, depending on the shape of the piece you have, but it can look like an eye with a cross at the center. And the piece I actually have in the photograph really looks very much like that. Chiastolite invites us to really recognize the moments in our lives when we're at a sacred crossroads. It literally is the greeter. It's like the one that says, hey, welcome to a sacred crossroads. You might be finding yourself met with a decision, and let yourself just take your time, sink in. Don't feel like you need to rush in any one direction. Let yourself be at peace with knowing that the beauty of all the options available to you in your life. Yeah, how cool is that? The second phrase that's with it was to let your heart lead. And I think this is really a theme that each of us are really being invited into even more deeply. We're being invited to slow down, to connect with the earth, to attune to a rhythm that is a little bit different than the fast pace that we may be more familiar with. And when we do that, we begin to notice what feels more and more in alignment, and our heart more naturally offers insight and guidance, and it pulls us, draws us forward on the path that is right in the now. All right, then in September, we're going to meet with Magnetite. Magnetite is so much fun to work with. I got a hold of a whole bunch of little magnetite octahedrons a couple of years ago, and I began working with them in little grids. I guess I'm not a grid person per se, but I love to create a little altar and then encompass that with a circle of crystals. And so I like to call those grids, I guess, sometimes, even though they're not exactly that. But I played with these in that way. I would focus the energy of my intention into a little altar and then circle it with magnetite. And when they were like coming together in that beautiful space, there was something really magical about the way they held the sacredness of what was significant and important to me, the way they honored that energy, and the way I felt within myself of being supported in creating whatever that intention was. The thing that we're being reminded of in September with Magnetite is that we are creators of our lives and our reality, that we're a part of what unfolds, what we experience it, how we allow it to inform our next choices. And, you know, I guess co-creator is probably a more accurate phrase. You are a co-creator of your life and your reality. And Magnetite invites you to really unleash your magnetic ability, your ability to really stand in that place of creating your life and reality. In October, we are going to meet with one of my favorite stones, a Petoskey stone. Petoskey stone invites us really into a rhythm of gentle, gentle, soft, and slow. I often think Petoskey stone looks like a turtle stone. If you're not familiar with Petoskey stone, this is a stone that comes specifically from Petoskey, Michigan. It's a coral, fossil coral is kind of a common name that you'll see on the market or in, you know, crystal shops and stuff like that. And that looks pretty similar. If you get a hold of a piece of fossil coral and it has a bit of a pattern that looks like a turtle shell on its back, then you've probably found it. I'll have a picture of that though along the way. So I like to call it the turtle stone. It really is one that invites us into a slower, more connected rhythm with the earth. Then in November, we are going to be met with Kunsite. Yes, Kunsite is one happy little love. It's a soft pink stone, and it invites us to really celebrate life, celebrate our experiences, to have joy within it, and really recognize the gift that our life is. And then in December, you are going to meet with Pyrite. Pyrite is a stone of power, personal power, and it invites us, when it shows up, it invites us to reevaluate where maybe our power, our sense of power or relationship with power is a bit off balance or out of sorts, and to maybe reevaluate where old beliefs around power no longer fit where we're moving to or the timeline that we're living in. Things, beliefs, stories, patterns, they need to evolve as our awareness and consciousness evolves. And Pyrite's one that really kind of like pokes at that energy of power and says, hey, is that really what power means? Like, are you sure? I always feel like it kind of has that little like head cock and looks at us like, are you sure that's what power really means? How about you reevaluate that? Maybe there's a shadow side that wants to be explored, and maybe there's a part that wants to be embraced in your life. It's such a fun stone to work with. Yeah. Pyrite. So we close the year with Pyrite. I'm very curious about what is all going to unfold in this coming year and how each of these crystals and stones will show up as allies to support us in navigating the energy that unfolds this year. If you'd like to learn more, pop on over to my website. And if you would like to sink deeper each month into the crystal allies, into the collective energies, work with ceremony and ritual and other sacred practices to really expand, sink into deeper connection with you and expand more into your light this year. I'd love for you to join me in the Sanctuary Circle. Head on over to my website, loriaandress.com/sanctuary, and you can learn all about it there. So with that, my sacred friend, I wish you a beautiful day. And as always, shine brightly. Bye for now.